Coming up here on the Raiders Report, 6 blockbuster trades that the Raiders should consider right now. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report from Chat Sports. And with all this conversation about Jimmy Garoppolo potentially going to the New York Jets after the Aaron Rodgers injury, I figured, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make some trades that actually make some sense. So what you're going to be seeing here is 6 trades that the Raiders should consider right now. We're going to be shipping some players off. We're going to try to bring some players in. Got a little creative, started talking to some of the guys here around the studio for teams that they cover, and I said, give me some trade candidates that you should consider. The first trade that we got going up here on the show is Derek Barnett to the Las Vegas Raiders. The defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles has been linked to multiple trade rumors out there. He's been granted permission to seek a trade by Philadelphia, and the reason why this one makes sense is because he's buried a little bit on that depth chart and wants an opportunity to show himself as he is getting up there in age a little bit. So here's the trade that I would offer if I was the Raiders. You get Barnett, Philadelphia Eagles get a 5th-round pick. Like, if I'm Philly, I know that I'm in win-now mode, and you might want to keep Barnett, but I also know the fact that he is coming off a very, very bad injury to the ACL, but I also know when he's healthy, he can be a reliable player, and because of that, it's something to at least consider. Over the last 4 seasons, he had the torn ACL last year. I thought that he looked pretty good overall in his first game. In 2021, the 46 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Let's face it, the Raiders need to be able to find somebody that can help them generate more pass rush, especially if, let's face it, Tyree Wilson looked slow in that first game. I got to give my flowers to Malcolm Kuntz. He impressed me. But if Chandler Jones doesn't find himself on the field, the Raiders need more help at defensive end. I will admit there's some other free agents that I would sign before I would make a trade, but after all, this is Blockbuster Trade's video. My question is this. I was a big-time Blockbuster frequent flyer when I was a kid growing up, and Chuck said that he never got video games. For me personally, though, that's why I went to Blockbuster. I went to go get video games. So let's hop back into our time machine a little bit. What did you rent at Blockbuster? Were you someone who got movies, or were you somebody that got video games? Type M for movies, type V for video games, or type 4? I gotcha. Chugs wants me to tell you guys, or you could type P, which I don't know if you could even buy that at Blockbuster. You had to go to a store that had 3 X's on it and had no curtains. I think you're talking about a different store. What did you used to get at Blockbuster? Movies, video games? Let me know down in the comments. Let's go to the next trade idea here. I'm shipping off Amik Robertson to the Carolina Panthers. And out of all the trades that you're about to see on this show, to me, that the one that is the most likely to happen, I'm not saying that any of these are likely to happen, but the one that I can paint the picture of, okay, like that's the most realistic, is Amik to Carolina. The Raiders get a 7th-round pick in 2024. Carolina gets Amik. If you don't follow the NFL and some of the injuries that have happened a little bit, a big-time injury to Carolina's cornerback. They drafted J.C. Horn, I want to say like number 8 overall 2 years ago. Never got to play as a rookie, and now he's injured yet again. On top of that, the Raiders' defensive backs coach, Simmons, used to be the cornerbacks coach in Carolina. So there's a lot of connections there. And Amik, I do think, would potentially fit with what they're trying to do. So with J.C. Horn being out several weeks, you get a corner in Amik Robertson who could help out that secondary. You have the coaching connection there. So that's why, to me, you get at least something for Amik. With you promote Sam Webb, you promote maybe, I don't even know, Tyler Hall, both of those corners, and then you continue to move forward. This team does have depth at that position, which is why I am okay moving on from Mr. Amik Robertson. Also, man, we got a sponsor. They're back in the rotation. Shout out to AG1. And if you haven't already gotten started with our awesome sponsor, go to drinkag1.com/Chat Sports. The Raiders Report is sponsored by AG1. I have AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive, convenient daily nutrition at drinkag1.com/Chat Sports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted immune system support and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. My grandma always said the early bird gets the worm, and AG1 inspires and motivates me get as many worms as possible every day. AG1 really helps me getting my day started, getting out of bed, especially after some of our watch parties. I'm telling you, man, it can be difficult. And I'm a person who likes and needs a routine. AG1 helps me stick to my healthy routine, wake up early, take my AG1, take Chuck for a walk, then hit the gym before work. Covering my nutritional base for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust AG1. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. Done! I also like it because it costs less than $3 a day. That's pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It's a just-win baby. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then AG1 is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Now, I don't know about y'all, I'm always trying to make myself a little bit healthier, make myself a little bit better, and especially, let's call a spade, right? We put our bodies through some pretty crazy stuff, especially during the regular season. So if I can be a little healthier, believe it or not, I'm trying to stick around for the long haul here on the Raiders Report. Let's go to my next trade idea here, and not all of these trades are sexy. They're just trades that I'm able to make certain connections and connect some dots here. Raekwon Davis to Las Vegas. Raekwon Davis. Sorry, I was going to say. You said Roquan Smith earlier to me, and I was like, that's not how you say it. Raekwon Davis. Raekwon Davis back in 2020 was a second-round pick, number 56 overall out of Alabama, and this guy is a big old boy. And the Raiders, they need to add depth at the defensive tackle position. Davis is in the final year of his deal, and, he's got to look himself in the mirror and be like, I haven't really been all that great down in Miami. They gave Ziegler a hell of a deal this offseason. They're about to pay Christian Wilkins, which makes him the odd man out. Usually when you're the odd man out, NFL teams say, okay, if we know that he's in the final year of his deal, we'll take just about anything for him. Rob Leonard on top of it, and this is really the biggest reason why I have Davis on this list, is because Rob Leonard was the Dolphins defensive line coach in 2020 when Miami ended up drafting him. And I'll say this. I'm a big believer in Rob Leonard, just like I'm a big believer in Carmen Bracillo being great coaches. And when you're great coaches, sometimes you can get the most out of your players. Has Davis been a disappointment? Yes. Yes, he has. I'm also, though, a big-time believer in sometimes you need a change of scenery. And he hasn't been all that great down in Miami. In fact, he's been, kind of underperforming if we're just being honest. But if all I got to do is give up a 7th-round pick in 2024, you add some extra competition to this defensive tackle room, and I'm feeling a lot better about it, right? You pair him up with his old teammate, John Jenkins. I want to see more out of Nesta Jade Silvera. I want to see him on the field this upcoming week, and if he's not in the field, I'm going to get a little bit frustrated because, let's face it, the Raiders' defensive tackle room is a little bit of an eyesore at this point. So all I'm trying to do is improve at a certain position. That is what I want to see. Now, I do know this, man. If the Raiders end up making a trade, you already know. Jeremy Chuggs and we're going to be going live here, and I don't want you to miss it because our live shows, when trades go down, unforgettable. They are insane. We go wild. We get a few drinks pouring here, get a few giveaways going. But make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got your notifications turned on because if we break some news, you don't want to be the one that misses it. Let's go to the trade that's probably going to create the most oh, crap. And this might be weird. And I did say that this is a trade that I would consider right now. If I was the Buffalo Bills and I'm in desperation mode, I'm 0-1. Why not trade for Hunter Renfrow, a player that had only 13 snaps this past week? And if you watch that Monday Night Football game, yes, they have Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis is a phenomenal field stretcher for Buffalo. Outside of that, Dalton Kincaid. It's not easy for a rookie tight end to get it going. When I think of the best Josh Allen, he had a slot receiver by the name of Cole Beasley. Hunter Renfrow can be that better version of Cole Beasley with this team overall. Yeah, it's going to suck a little bit. You trade away a player that you're going up against this week, but that gives Buffalo more incentive to pull off this deal. So the Bills, they need another slot receiver. The Raiders would save $10.64 million if they traded Renfrow right now because on a per-game basis, he's making just it's like 700 something per game, somewhere in that number figure. But because there's already one game in the book, if you didn't use Renfrow, he played 13 snaps. You played Christian Wilkerson 13 snaps on top of that. If I can get something for Renfrow, I'm on board with it. And plus, you're saving some money. So here's the deal. Raider fans aren't going to like it. I know that. But if you told me right now I get a 6th-round pick for Hunter Renfrow, I'm taking it. You give me a 6th-round pick, you save over $10 million, you use that $10 million, invest it into something that we're actually going to use. I like Renfrow, and if, it's week 2, and if Renfro's in the game 40 snaps, he gets 5 or 6 targets, and he makes a bigger impact, I'm okay with it. We can keep him. But if we're paying a receiver $13 million for the entire season, and he's getting 13 snaps, and he's getting out-snapped by Christian Wilkerson, then it doesn't make sense to me. So I'll take this pick, even though it's a major loss, but it's not really a loss because you drafted Hunter Renfrow in the 6th round either. How often can you buy a car and then a few years later get the exact same thing what you paid for it? So should the Raiders try to trade away Hunter Renfrow, give me a trade, or I want you to type P for pass. I will continue to say that I want Renfrow on this team, but if the Raiders are not going to use him, then yes, you might as well trade him away. Let's go to the next trade here, and I couldn't just do one player to a team trades. Had to mix it up here a little bit. So who's the one team that I feel like we could mix it up with? The Arizona Cardinals. And I'll tell you what, they were probably pissed off they almost won this past week. So because of that, they're like, well, now we got to make sure that we don't win. So let's go out, let's try to get ourselves a defensive tackle in Fotu, and let's also go out and get ourselves a free safety in Budda Baker. The Arizona Cardinals get Merrick and then a 2024 3rd-round pick. Budda Baker doesn't have an H in it if you want to take that out, or we could just pronounce it as Baker. Either way. But the reason why I'm doing this one is Merrick did injure his hand. I'm sitting up here again, I'm saying we need to see what we can have in Merrick. But Merrick was one of the biggest losers to me on the defensive side of the football. Let's just go get a safety. Yeah, you're probably going to have to pay him a little bit of money, but a safety that I have confidence in. Merrick is still yet to inspire any confidence in me. Giving him a 3rd-round pick stinks, but if you're able to get one of the best safeties in the league and you're able to get a defensive tackle that you're going to use in your rotation, to me overall, that makes sense. Yeah, you're giving up probably more than what some people want to do, but I do think like this is kind of what Arizona would want in the end. All right, let's go to the final trade, and I don't have a team. I'm just at this point, y'all can have Chandler Jones. Like, Chandler Jones to me is a headache that this Raiders team, this Raiders organization, this Raiders locker room does not need. And if I'm McDaniels and I'm Ziegler, I'm going, who wants him? Who wants him? Put him on the yard sale. And if any team out there says, we'll take Chandler Jones off your hands, we'll take that contract off your hands because we believe that we can get a motivated Chandler Jones, I'm telling you right now, you can have him. Like, Chandler's going to go on social media, and again, there's 2 sides to every story, and unfortunately, we're never going to hear both sides. But I am a big-time believer that you can't have an adult who's supposed to be a leader on your team, who's somebody that you brought in because you have ties to, a player that you knew growing up, and they're doing what they're doing right now. Like, airing out dirty laundry on social media, airing out what Mark Davis is saying to you, airing out what your head coach, your general manager is saying to you. Like, it's a bad, bad look. And I just want and need a Raiders-free off season. I need a Raiders-free drama season. Like, it's what the nation needs. And after a game that you won, you're 1-0. Yeah, you probably could have been better on the defensive side of the football, but knowing that you were able to win that game without Chandler Jones, if I'm the Raiders, I'm saying, whoever wants them, you can take them. Just take them off my hands. Maybe everyone besides the Broncos, Chargers, and the Chiefs. All right, y'all, we're going to roll through these trade ideas one more time. I know I threw a lot of ideas out there. So how about this? We're going to quickly roll through these trades. Which one was your favorite? If it was the first trade, type 1. As you notice at the very top of the screen, they're all labeled 1 through 6. So I'm just curious of which trade was your favorite, and obviously there's a lot of different ideas that you can do. I hope that you enjoyed this show because I like doing trade ideas. It's a lot more fun and entertaining for me to be able to create them up in my mind and be able to paint a picture overall. But if you like that type of stuff, guess what? That's the type of content we're going to be bringing here. And if you ever want to stay up to date on the latest Raiders news, rumors, what's going on in my personal life, Twitter, Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365. My job is to keep you guys up to date, keep the content going, obviously, on YouTube. But I bleed silver and black, and I do it on my off days. I do it on social media, and it's because I love interacting with the nation. So don't be afraid. Hit me up on social media. I'd love to see it.